Ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to my channel. I know this is not the style I've made my other 3 videos in, but this is what I have to do. My professor asked us to make a video and send it to him for him to judge. He said that we could choose any topic to talk about, and this is why I chose my favorite topic, movies. Let's start with a simple question. What is a movie? But in a more British way of saying it, a film. Following is the definition of a film as stated in Oxford Dictionary. A story or event recorded by a camera as a set of moving images and shown in a cinema or on television. Pretty easy, isn't it? But what if I tell you that a movie is much more than just a story recorded by a camera? I know that you already know that it's much more than that, but let me round it up for you. Yes, a movie is a story. Yes, a movie is recorded by a camera, but they forget about the feelings these films give us. How many times have you cried because a fictional character died right in front of your eyes? How many times have you laughed at the misfortune of your beloved actors? How many times did you walk out of the movie theater to find yourself still thinking about what you just watched? I doubt that you could count it just on your hands. You would certainly need a calculator to figure this one out, but don't you worry about those numbers. You shouldn't. The only thing you should worry about is what you feel. You might say, Teldy, but I can get these feelings from other kinds of media. Books, TV shows, video games. Why did you choose to talk about movies? Well, I like movies. Duh. There is no particular reason for me to talk about movies, but that's what I want to do. So let me start. The story. A story is a set of events that happen in particular order, with the beginning, middle, and the end. And that's what holds most of the movies together. And for different types of movies, there are different types of stories. Now, I'm not talking about that the comedy should have a funny story, a drama, a sad one, and an action, an active one with a lot of fights and explosions. I'm talking about movies that can become timeless classics, and movies for a quick money grab, not to say that the latter cannot become a classic. Most of the timeless classics are story-driven. What it means is that basically, without the story, the way the movie was made wouldn't be as good as it actually is. For me, a great example for this type of movie is The Dark Knight. You might disagree, but that's what the comment section is for. The Dark Knight is a criminal drama that has conquered a lot of hearts, not only of comic fans, but also of regular viewers. How, you ask? Pretty easy if you ask me. They took 2 most known comic characters of this day and age, Batman and Joker, and instead of fully committing to replicating the comics, Nolan North created his own story, with his own twists and ideas. Of course, not only he took part in writing the script, thusly creating this story, but he chose the best cast possible for those roles. As for the other type of stories, it's the stories that just work. By that I don't mean that other stories don't, but for the sole purpose of the movie being at least good, the story must work. Let me tell you what I mean by it. There is a simple story structure, which is often seen in movie scripts. 3 parts. The beginning, the middle, and the end. The beginning consists of 2 chapters. In the first one, we show main character's normal life, how he acts, what he does, what conflicts he has. In the beginning of the second chapter, something changes in that character's life. Someone gets killed, character loses something, he finds a treasure map, it doesn't matter. In this chapter, the character tries to live with that new feeling, but fails to go along with the new way of life. This chapter is the point when our character can still come back to his old way of life, to something that he is used to, but he fails to do so. The middle usually consists of 4 chapters. Sometimes we get more, but it's not the point. As basic as I can explain it, in the beginning of the middle part of the movie, we get a question, like, will the character find the treasure, or will he survive? And in the course of these 4 chapters, the character tries to get what he wants, while answering the question along the way. Basically, after the middle part, we get the answer to the question asked, the answer being yes or no. And in the end, or conclusion, we get 2 chapters, the false ending and the real ending. They are pretty self-explanatory. Now that this is out of the way, let me tell you of a movie that has this kind of story. Even though I love that movie, I still think that its story only works as it is and doesn't stand out as much as The Dark Knight does. Hot Fuzz. Edgar Wright. What a beautiful bastard! One of the best directors of our time, if you ask me. But not in the writing department though. But let's stop talking about him and get to the movie. Hot Fuzz tells a story of a brilliant policeman. He's strong, handsome, smart, loyal, doesn't let a single law-breaking bug get through him, and he loves his job. What more can you say? But all good things must come to an end. As he grows older, he is being departed away from the busy city to a small, calm hamlet as his retirement gift. Oh. Wait a minute. Oh, sorry, wrong script. Here it is. He is being departed because he makes all of the London police look incompetent compared to him. Well, that's a nice start, isn't it? But you know, this hamlet isn't as nice as you'd expect. As soon as the main character arrives there, a series of mysterious murders happen. A couple is found beheaded. A man is blown up in his own house. And the main character even becomes a witness of a murder. But the local police chief says that all of these are just accidents. And of course the main character finds out who did it. But let's not get into heavy spoilers here. As you can see, the story works. It's somewhat basic, not very interesting, but the point I was trying to make is that the story of this movie works. And that's exactly what the movie needed. The story didn't have to be great. It didn't need to dig deeply into the emotions or the mystery to be good. And that's exactly why a story doesn't always make for a good movie. So, now that I introduced you to my 2 most favorite movies, let me go deep into why I think both of them were great. Let's start with The Dark Knight. As I think, movies like The Dark Knight heavily rely on the story, good acting and well pacing. As a criminal drama, there must be a great conflict between the main character and the main villain. And this movie has one of the most iconic conflicts: order and chaos. Both of them are represented by the characters Batman, James Gordon and Harvey as the order, and Joker and Two-Face as the chaos. I would love to point out that Harvey and Two-Face are the same man, which shows that during the movie even the characters besides the main one can have character arcs, and also that the character arcs don't always have to go towards good but evil as well. And that's what I like about these kinds of films. A timeless classic doesn't always go as the rules tell them. Often they choose their own path, creating more films that go for the same route. And besides that, after watching this kind of movie, you'll be asking yourself a lot of questions like, what is good and what is evil? How can a great man fall so low? What can break a man? That's what I was left with after watching this movie. That's the impact this film can have on a man. But let's not forget about the cast. Christian Bale, Heath Ledger, Aaron Eckhart, Gary Oldman, Morgan Freeman, such great actors and such beautiful and believable acting. Without them and without the story, there would be no such movie. And that is what I think made The Dark Knight the movie that it is. But as long as there are great movies, there will be entertaining ones. Comparing the stories of Hot Fuzz and The Dark Knight, the former doesn't have anything unique about itself. A standard cop partners getting along story with a bit of serial killer mystery on the top. But what part of the cake is this story in the Hot Fuzz? It's plain bread. But the frosting of this movie makes for the best cake you'll ever have. Acting! Yes, actors do act well, but that's just sugar. The frosting consists of montage, humor, silliness of the mystery and the reasoning behind the murders, the gore and laughable cliches. What the Hot Fuzz was aiming for was entertainment and nothing more. It knew what it wanted to be. And let me tell you, it is what it wanted to be. It laughs at the cliches, the silliness of the main character and the stupidity of his partner. The action is over the top, as everything else is in this movie. You want an action scene? Hot Fuzz has it. You want to laugh? You'll literally be rolling on the floor because of laughter. You want a mystery? There you go. You'll see everything you will come for in this film and even more, because of a simple fact. The people behind this movie had one and only one objective: to entertain. This is the most important part of such films. If you want to entertain, you must know in what way you should do it. And Edgar Wright knows it for sure. Waiting for more movies from you, Edgar! Hope you'll make us love it more in the future films! I think you got it. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked the video. I don't mean like in a put like under the video way, but it is welcome. Bye! Just press the like button, please.